I'm so glad you've discovered this short video presentation because I can't wait to share with you what my team and I have found to be the absolute easiest and all-encompassing solution for improved health. For just a few seconds a day, this solution has the capacity to improve your total body health thanks to recent advances in science and technology. It does not require you to fork over large sums of cash in expensive and laborious doctor's visits. This solution does not require you to make huge and dramatic changes to your diet or to your lifestyle. And best of all, with almost no effort on your part, this solution can actually reverse the conditions that lead to poor gut health, thus saving you from years of potentially excruciating pain, constant bloating, agonizing constipation, frequent sickness and diarrhea, unbearable food sensitivities, not to mention prevent and fight cancer, and much more. In fact, since posting this presentation online, we've already received letters and emails from countless people who've watched this video, implemented what we've shared, and want to thank us for the incredible results they've witnessed. These are regular people, just like you and me, who now sleep better at night, who have more energy during the day, who aren't consumed with painful bloating or cramping. They no longer stress or worry about food sensitivities or impossible diet restrictions. They are suddenly more positive and even feel better about themselves because they're no longer facing an uphill battle with their health. They're sick less, they're happy more, and they're finally in control. Now, before I share with you the state-of-the-art, whole-body solution that my team has discovered, I'm going to share with you 3 of the absolute worst foods which are completely wrecking your stomach, and which you probably aren't even aware of. One in particular is consumed by nearly every American on a daily basis, and most have no idea that it's actually a main contributor to their stomach problems. These are foods most families teach their kids to be healthy and part of a well-balanced diet. Worse even, one of these foods is marketed and labeled as a health superfood, but trust me, it's anything but. I've literally traveled the world and lived in other countries, and I was shocked to learn that each of these detrimental foods are almost entirely unique to us here in the States. So it shouldn't be a surprise then to learn the potentially deadly consequences of these foods are also almost entirely unique to us here in the States as well. I'm going to reveal those 3 terrible foods in just a moment, but first I need to be brutally honest with you about something. Most of the population has no idea how widespread the fallout from poor gut health truly is. As many as 3/4 of all Americans report regular discomfort originating in their bellies, half of which never see a doctor about it. And food intolerances and sensitivities have been rapidly rising in recent years, even recent months. Just consider with me for a moment. How many people do you personally know who have special dietary restrictions? People that need to stay away from things like wheat, gluten, peanuts, soy, garlic, milk, eggs, meat, fish, even fruit. And what's truly amazing is recent groundbreaking research is now concluding that improving stomach health is essential to improving mental health. The link between our guts and our brains is so strong that Dr. Douglas Lord, medical director at Integrative Wellness, refers to your stomach as your second brain. You see, there are approximately 100 million nerve cells lining your entire gastrointestinal or GI tract. They act like a microscopic yet numerous army. These nerve cells have the task of taking ingested food, breaking it down, absorbing it, and extracting energy and nutrients for the rest of your body. This army lines your entire GI tract, and while they do play an essential role in food digestion, they also have the really important job of sending messages back and forth to your brain, relaying vital information about the overall health of your gut. If these nerve cells tell your brain that your gut health is suffering or getting worse, your body gathers resources and actually begins waging war on your own stomach. Individuals with celiac disease or irritable bowel syndrome know all too well what I'm talking about. But for a far larger number of people, the symptoms are less obvious, often go unnoticed, and yet are just as real. Let me prove it to you. Do you ever suffer from headaches or fatigue and don't know why? Do you ever feel down or anxious for no apparent reason at all? What about joint pain or intermittent stomach cramping? In many cases, these signs have no apparent link, and we sometimes have extreme trouble even pinpointing a root cause. It's no wonder most people never see a doctor about it. We wouldn't know what to tell them, and we just look foolish trying. In fact, this was the story for one of my close friends, Mindy. She went to the doctor for years for seemingly random stomach pain, food sensitivities that came and went, back pain, headaches, and worst of all, depression and anxiety. And she could never find a link between these symptoms. They would just come and go regardless of the season, regardless of what she'd eaten, even regardless of what medication she was on. It seemed like every time I talked to her, she was on a different diet, a different exercise regimen, and she never found relief until she went to a nutritionist expecting to get a new diet plan, but instead was given an exponentially simpler and radically different solution. And then everything improved. Be sure to watch this video to the very end, because I'll be sharing more about Mindy in just a few minutes, about how she was able to change her entire life around, fix all of her seemingly random symptoms with one small change, and learn exactly what caused them, so that you can too. Now the truth is, thanks to recent research and new diagnoses, we're learning many of these symptoms may actually point to something referred to as leaky gut syndrome. Leaky gut, also known as intestinal hyperpermeability, occurs because your intestines allow toxins, microbes, and even undigested food particles to leak into your bloodstream. I know this sounds made up and kind of hard to believe. And frankly, I didn't believe it myself. But I assure you this is very real and can be very painful for those that experience it. You can imagine it this way. A healthy gut is like having buff, armed guards patrolling the wall of your intestines, who quickly and easily fight off toxins and other harmful substances not meant to enter your bloodstream. But for someone with leaky gut, it's as if those guards are weak, weaponless, and drastically outnumbered, and the substances they let pass course throughout your body, wreaking absolute havoc. This causes inflammation and even leads to a variety of harmful diseases. It can manifest as allergies, asthma, autoimmune disorders like eczema and psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis, even type 1 diabetes. And shockingly, researchers at Arizona State University are now discovering mounting evidence that leaky gut may even be linked to autism. The research is still new, but they're finding that 9 out of 10 autistic individuals suffer from leaky gut. And scientists hypothesize that foreign particles entering the bloodstream might actually reach the brain and cause irreparable damage, leading to conditions like autism, depression, anxiety, and much more. Needless to say, leaky gut syndrome, and all digestive problems for that matter, are something that we need to be taking seriously, and we need to do so quickly. One of the most truly shocking things I've discovered in all of this is it's actually a recent human problem. It seems to impact everyone across the board, regardless of age, and unfortunately, is becoming increasingly common even for kids. In fact, the number of food allergies in kids has jumped 50% in just the last 20 years. And as far as we know, ancient humans didn't deal with food sensitivities or high rates of allergies. And it's a good thing too. They had enough problems fending off other infectious diseases and just surviving. No, it's almost as if becoming more and more advanced with improved technology and better food preservation techniques, we're actually losing something else in the process. Something that's causing us to get sick more, have more GI problems, and possibly introduced other new diseases that humans before us have never known. Which brings me to my top 3 worst foods, which are absolutely a byproduct of our advanced civilization and improved technology. The first of these detrimental foods, and my favorite of the 3, is bread. It turns out the food the experts have told us for years was a staple, and one of the most important food groups to eat every day, has actually been a leading culprit in the war in our gut. And not just any bread, all bread, even the healthy kind. Let me explain, because this part is kind of surprising. Bread has been around for centuries, and while it has become a staple for many cultures, bread in modern America is almost nothing like bread from the past, and nothing like bread in other countries. It doesn't even resemble bread from 100 years ago. The next time you get a chance, just look at the label of the bread in your pantry, and notice a few things. First, I want you to look at the number of ingredients. Second, notice how much sugar there is. And lastly, notice how many of those ingredients you cannot pronounce. Now, just because an ingredient has a long name doesn't mean it's bad. But the truth is, the true ingredients of real bread, the type of bread humans have eaten since we learned how to mix ingredients, was only ever made from a few natural and simple, basic ingredients. In fact, I often enjoy making bread myself, and the only ingredients needed are yeast, some sugar to feed the yeast, salt, oil, and flour. That's it. Each one of these ingredients you already know and are familiar with, and can easily pronounce. Here's why the bread in the store is nothing like real, natural bread of the past. The bread industry has experienced an explosive growth in the last 70 years or so, which has dramatically changed its composition. It's certainly not made with your health in mind. Instead, it's manufactured to maximize shelf life at the expense of quality, and therefore contains so many preservatives and synthetic components that it barely even constitutes as bread. And we have no idea what it may be doing to our health. This also goes for the healthy bread, like whole wheat, multigrain, and the rest. So in the 50s, a method of manufacturing bread was developed that completely skips the fermentation process, which meant that large amounts of bread could now be made in just a fraction of the time, and could now last longer on store shelves. But here's where the devastating problems with our health also began. A long fermentation process allows for a more complete breakdown of the carbohydrates and gluten within the bread, which makes for easier digestion and absorption of the bread into our bodies. But since we've quickened the process, and those components are no longer broken down completely, society has witnessed a rise in sensitivities to these components, which makes absolutely perfect sense. Because never before in human history have we been ingesting these components, and our stomachs were never designed to even try. I have this European friend who lives in the States, and I once asked him what he thought was the hardest food to get used to in America. And do you know what he said? The bread. It's too sweet. Imagine that. And he's right. Our bread is so fake that we need to add so much additional sugar just to mask the fakeness of the preservatives and chemicals. Other than the sugar to feed the yeast and allow it to rise, no one else in the world puts so much sugar in their bread. And some of our fancier breads with multiple grains and exotic seeds have even higher sugar contents. So by eating one of the true staples in the American diet, bread, you've been unknowingly feeding your stomach's worst enemy, contributing to leaky gut and a host of other health ailments. It's no wonder your stomach has been losing the war. This brings me to the second of these worst foods that we've been deceived into thinking are actually healthy, but is actually ruining our stomach health, and therefore our whole body health. Yogurt. Now don't get me wrong, I love the idea of yogurt, and it can actually be healthy. Yogurt contains helpful bacteria cultures that are good for us, but we should really be staying away from the majority of yogurt on our store shelves, and here's why. While yogurt can be great due to the bacteria cultures it contains, most yogurt contains way too many calories from one unhealthy component: sugar. The next time you're at the grocery store, compare the sugar content of the many different yogurts you find. You'll be shocked, because many of them even contain twice the sugar found in one serving of ice cream. If you're going to be eating yogurt, you should actually be eating the organic, unflavored versions, as they contain most of their calories from fats and proteins, and far less sugar. The last, and frankly the most shocking of these three worst foods, has not only been marketed as a superfood for the last several years, but even had a year dedicated solely to its health benefits. Unfortunately, we're now discovering that this health food is probably the worst of all when it comes to gut health. Ready to hear what it is? Quinoa. Yep, even though 2013 was the International Year of Quinoa, even though it is one of the most popular gluten-free health foods, and even though countless people eat it as a bread and pasta alternative, it could potentially be doing more damage to your stomach than both bread and pasta. Here's why. Quinoa is almost more of a seed than it is a grain, because many seeds have a protective outer layer giving it a slightly bitter taste, which acts as a natural defense to insects and birds. Contained inside of this protective layer are compounds called saponins, and unfortunately, saponins are known to punch holes in your gastrointestinal lining. Sound familiar? That's leaky gut. These saponins are so irritating and inflammatory, scientists even use them for vaccine research. This was especially unfortunate news for my wife and I to learn, because our 2-year-old son is one of the pickiest eaters we know. But since quinoa was one of the few foods he loved, we gave it to him all the time. And now it turns out, already suffering from eczema and a peanut allergy, we may have been doing incredible damage to his stomach lining and causing him intense pain and inflammation, not to mention allowing toxins to enter the rest of his poor little body. So while quinoa may not be the bread and pasta replacement we all thought, it's probably best to only consume on occasion and in small amounts, if at all, for the sake of your stomach and your health. You've just learned about 3 of the worst foods for your health: bread, yogurt, and surprisingly quinoa. While quinoa is bad because of its ability to punch holes in your GI tract, bread and yogurt are bad primarily for a different reason: sugar content. Did you know that among other health risks, a diet high in sugars increases your risk of heart disease twofold? And I'm sure you won't be surprised to learn that Americans eat more sugar than anyone else in the world. It's no wonder that heart disease is such a devastating problem for us. What's more, sugar is extremely addicting. In fact, research has discovered that sugar is 8 times more addictive than the hardcore drug cocaine. And remember those harmful substances we saw earlier? that would do anything to get past your protective cells and into your bloodstream? Well, the scary truth is that all this sugar actually feeds these harmful substances. So by filling your stomach with a diet loaded with tons of sugars, you didn't realize it, but you're just supercharging those harmful substances, preparing your gut to fail, getting more and more addicted, and setting yourself up to further lose the war. But be sure to keep watching, because if you'd like to finally learn how to win this war, I'm going to reveal how you can do just that, and all while still enjoying your favorite foods and without any major changes to your diet and lifestyle. But first, let me be the one to tell you, your increased consumption of sugar and sweeteners, the resulting havoc within your stomach, the suffering and failing whole body health, isn't your fault. The food industry has been adding increased amounts of preservatives, sugars, and sweeteners to increase their own profits and actually get you addicted and hooked to their products. But here's where things get really interesting. The reason that a high sugar diet can do utter destruction to your health isn't just because of the sugar itself, but it's actually because of who it feeds. Throughout this presentation, I've hinted at how our stomachs have toxins and harmful substances waging war inside of them, and that there's also a good component to them that fights these toxins. Well, these components are really bacteria. Our guts are a microsystem of various strains of bacteria that come from our food and from the air around us, and even vary by person and especially by diet. Advances in technology have revealed that for you to have a well-functioning stomach, one that is nearly free of debilitating cramping and bloating, and which provides regular, healthy bowel movements to eliminate waste and harmful substances that can be damaging to your body and health, you need a mixture of at least 80% good bacteria and no more than 20% bad bacteria. And this can fluctuate considerably with differing diets and lifestyles. In fact, just being sick and taking an antibiotic wipes out all of the bacteria, both good and bad. Therefore, we just need to ensure that we're getting a daily, regular dose of good bacteria that ancient humans used to get regularly in their diets. So how do we get the good bacteria? Surprisingly, a lot of foods do contain them. Foods like pickles, yogurt, sauerkraut, and even some less common foods like kimchi, miso, kombucha, and kefir. So it would seem all we need to do is stop eating bad foods, foods high in sugar and that feed bad bacteria, and eat a lot of good fermented foods, which are high in good bacteria, right? Well, the problem is the amounts of these foods we'd have to consume every meal, every day, just to get their benefits would be almost sickening. These bacteria are typically flushed from our system within 24 hours. I mean, I like sauerkraut, but not that much. And while many Asian countries do eat some kimchi or miso for every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and as a result are sick less, have lower rates of cancer and heart disease, have higher life expectancies, and have increased energy in their older populations. I don't know many people in America that would really want to eat kimchi or miso that much. And the biggest problem in doing this for the bacteria benefit is there's no guarantee in the types and amounts of good bacteria you're getting, or that the bacteria cultures were even still alive by the time you ate it. Because the amount of bacteria and specific strains in these foods varies dramatically from batch to batch. Another option, which is actually becoming increasingly common and is a great health option, is fasting. Research is finding that alternating days of fasting and feasting can do wonders to improve your stomach flora. Fasting can actually strengthen the barrier of the GI tract, cutting back on inflammation and leaky gut, and even frees up your immune system to fight other threats to your system. People who fast regularly have found tremendous relief. But let's be honest, probably the only thing worse than eating food you don't like every meal, every day, is actually giving up food that you love entirely and starving yourself. So while fasting has shown to provide excellent benefits to your stomach health, it's just not a practical solution for most people. No, we're looking for a simpler solution, one that doesn't require changing our entire lifestyle, one that doesn't require skipping meals and suffering through periods of starvation. We're looking for a solution that lets us eat all the foods we know and love, yet not deal with all the junk contained in them. And here's where I've got some great news that you're going to love. There's now a new and natural solution, which can finally bring an end to our degrading stomach health, once and for all. This solution, which has already helped millions of people all over the country to eliminate bloating, cramping, sickness, and disease, to clean up their GI tract and decrease chances of depression and anxiety, to prevent diarrhea and even improve immune system function, to finally bring relief and closure to their daily suffering, is a probiotic. A probiotic, for those that don't know, is a small tablet or capsule that you can ingest, which contains billions of known live cultures of good bacteria, and have been clinically shown to balance your gut's microflora. These probiotics will add billions of helpful good bacteria to your stomach, which essentially steal all the resources from the bad bacteria. They break down harmful carbohydrates and neutralize toxins that are damaging your gut, restoring balance and promoting a healthy GI tract. Now, many of you watching this presentation may have already tried a probiotic, but saw zero results and felt it was a waste of money. Well, before you click away, I urge you to stay tuned, because in just a few minutes, I'm actually going to reveal why most probiotics flooding the market today are a complete waste of time and money. And I'll show you exactly what to look for in a high-quality probiotic that really will improve your gut health. But first, remember my friend Mindy from earlier? Well, the expert nutritionist recommended a daily maximum strength probiotic for her, which brought her near immediate relief. It cleared up her symptoms and allowed her to finally enjoy the foods she loved once again. She no longer has to experiment with the latest diets and health trends, which can sometimes fail miserably and end up causing terrible pain and nausea. She no longer needs prescriptions for depression or anxiety, and some of her food sensitivities even went away. All because she figured out how to balance her stomach's defenses and break down toxins and prevent harmful substances from entering her bloodstream. So have you tried a probiotic and it didn't work? Or are you completely new to probiotics and you'd like to know what exactly to look for in order to finally restore your gut's microbiota? And in turn, allowing you to finally eat, laugh, and live carefree again? The truth is that most probiotics on the market are a complete waste of money. Many claim to be high quality and often come with a steep price tag. So let me show you exactly what to look for in a good, true high quality probiotic. And then I'll even give you my top recommendation for a daily probiotic that you can start taking immediately, which can not only give your stomach relief, but can also decrease your risk of heart disease, depression, anxiety, and food sensitivities to help you to once again enjoy all the foods you used to have to push aside, and allow you to move on with life with a new perspective and new appreciation for the world around you. Imagine what it would be like when your poor gut health stops zapping you of your energy and vitality. Just imagine what it would be like to finally have found something that brings relief and allows you to enjoy life again. Imagine what it would be like to be on the cutting edge of breaking health technology and joining the ranks of millions who have discovered the secret to whole body health. To be perfectly honest, there's actually a couple major problems you find with most probiotic supplements. First, many have wildly inaccurate labels regarding the specific strains and even amounts of bacteria in a single dosage. One study evaluating probiotic labels discovered that some included bacteria strains which weren't even listed on the label, and others didn't even include a single organism for a strain which was labeled. Second, because a probiotic is essentially a living organism inside a digestible capsule, there's a really good chance that your stomach acid just dissolves the tablet and kills the probiotic before it ever has a chance to work. This is because low-quality probiotics are filled with weaker strains of bacteria, and you therefore won't get any of the benefits you paid for. And the last and probably biggest reason your probiotic was a waste of money is because you likely didn't even ingest a single living bacteria. Remember, we're talking about a living thing, and under the wrong environmental circumstances, probiotics have been found to have incredibly short shelf lives, which means that many of them have likely died before you even took it. Luckily, I'm now going to show you a great test that you can perform with virtually any probiotic to see for yourself if it still contains live cultures, and to see if it's worth the money you paid. It's called a milk test, and I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it for you. So here I am heading to my local store to pick up a couple of popular probiotics. I'll grab some of the most popular ones you'll find on the shelves to see if they're worth the money and still contain live organisms. The first one to catch my eye is this one, because the box says that it's the #1 gastroenterologist recommended probiotic. It even has a nice, flashy box that really sticks out. The back of the box even says it was developed by gastroenterologists. The second one I notice is this one. The box says they guarantee 25 billion live cultures, which definitely makes me want to grab it and see for sure. For the first step of our milk test, pour a small amount of milk into a glass. Take 1 dosage worth of capsules, usually 1 or 2. Empty it into the milk and stir. Then let each sit at room temperature for 1 to 2 days. You can see here, I've included a third probiotic to compare with. I'll explain a little bit more about this one in just a minute. But you'll notice that I'm actually using 2 capsules with this one, since that's a dosage worth. While we wait, I'd like to explain what exactly we're looking for in a good probiotic. If the probiotic passes this test and contains plenty of good, live cultures that can finally end your stomach problems, balance your gut flora, make you sick less, provide relief from celiac disease and irritable bowel syndrome, and lower your risk for a multitude of other diseases. You'll notice after 1 to 2 days, the milk coagulates, becomes clumpy, and takes on a consistency similar to yogurt. That means the probiotic grew and multiplied. A really good probiotic will congeal completely and leave only a small amount of liquid protein left over. If any probiotic fails this test, it will merely look like fresh milk, revealing that the cultures were dead, and that ultimately it's a complete waste of money. Okay, so we've waited a full 2 days, and you can see the surprising results for yourself. The first probiotic, the one which claims to be the #1 gastroenterologist recommended probiotic, which was developed by GI doctors themselves, still looks pretty much like milk. There appears to be a little bit of bubbling, but nothing that shows the probiotic was alive to consume the milk. And the second one, which guarantees 25 million live cultures, also shows little to no probiotic growth from the milk test. This last one, though, which actually can only be purchased online and not in any store, not only did it cause the milk to thicken, but it also completely congealed, leaving only a thin layer of liquid protein, revealing that it contains really high-quality live bacteria cultures. And there you have it. Just head to the store, grab your favorite probiotic, and run the milk test yourself to see how it holds up. Now I want to take a moment to discuss the probiotic that passed the milk test, the one which clumped and showed active bacterial growth. Since it did perform so well, I'd like to share more details and the incredible benefits you can expect from it. This is actually our probiotic. It's called Gut Restore Ultimate Probiotic. It's a maximum strength probiotic with added immune support, and it's honestly one of our best-selling products. Not to mention, it's manufactured in an FDA-registered and GMP-certified facility. Here at Simple Nature, we are well aware of how many probiotics on the market are such low quality, full of dead cultures instead of beneficial, life-changing live cultures. Many have bogus claims and are even mislabeled. And because of this widespread probiotic problem, we set out to provide something better, something that you can trust. And that's why we developed Gut Restore Ultimate Probiotic. You've already seen for yourself that it passed the milk test, that it contains live cultures which can actually win the battle against bad bacteria inside your gut. And I'm positive you've never seen another probiotic like this, anywhere, because in addition to containing multiple strains of good bacteria, which have been clinically shown to lessen symptoms of GI discomfort like bloating, frequent cramping, food intolerances, fits of intense pain and nausea, this probiotic actually also contains a dosage of prebiotics, a special type of fiber, otherwise known as fructooligosaccharides. Science has discovered prebiotics are absolutely imperative to the functioning of probiotics because they serve as the necessary food and energy for the live probiotic cultures. These prebiotic fibers will enter your stomach right along with the probiotic and continually feed that probiotic, ensuring that you have strong, healthy, and mighty good bacteria soldiers that won't stop fighting until they've beaten the bad bacteria, eliminate the toxins, and prevent harmful particles from entering your bloodstream. Dr. David Williams, prominent medical researcher and biochemist, says this about prebiotics. Prebiotics are the food that your good bacteria need to stay alive and flourish. Prebiotics are so beneficial that infant formula manufacturers have even begun adding them to baby foods to ensure that children are creating the stomach microbiota they need. The other probiotics we tested, the popular ones you'd see at any store, didn't contain any prebiotics, which is typical for most other probiotics. Just imagine how different your stomach will finally feel once you're providing it the ammunition, the fuel it needs to thrive, rather than constantly be in repair mode and try to play catch-up. As if it weren't already better than virtually any other probiotic you could purchase, our Gut Restore Ultimate Probiotic gets even better, because in addition to far surpassing those we've shown in the milk test, and in addition to containing prebiotics, the necessary food source for probiotics, we also included one particular strain of good bacteria, for which I'm super excited to share with you. This strain, called B. lactis, has been shown to not only dramatically boost the user's immune system, it's been shown to not only contain powerful antioxidant properties, to not only increase the efficiency of your digestive system, prevent diarrhea, relieve constipation, and decrease colon inflammation. It's been shown to not only fight celiac disease, but this particular strain has even been clinically shown to fight and prevent cancer tumors. And that's just one strain in this maximum strength probiotic. And while we don't have the time to go into every benefit for every strain of bacteria included in this probiotic, I hope you're starting to see this ultimate probiotic is unlike any other you've seen. But that's not all, because in addition to excelling at the milk test, revealing numerous healthy strains of live bacteria to restore balance to your gut, even containing one strain which can decrease and eat away tumors, And in addition to containing essential prebiotics to feed and strengthen those probiotics, Gut Restore Ultimate also contains our special immune support matrix technology, which is a concoction of powerful vitamins and extracts. Extracts shown to give an added boost to your immune system, which works with the probiotic to help you feel better day in and day out, and restore the energy and vitality you need so you can get back to living the life you deserve. I can't say it enough. When it comes to winning the war inside of your stomach, while still enjoying all the foods you love, Gut Restore Ultimate truly stands above the rest. That's because there's one more thing about Gut Restore Ultimate that I've yet to share. It's enhanced capsule technology. Gut Restore Ultimate, unlike the other probiotics you can buy, simply won't get damaged by harmful digestive acids on its way to your gut. We've used a special, delayed-release vegetable capsule specifically designed to survive the passage through your GI tract, arriving at your gut completely intact, then, and only then, dissolving and releasing the prebiotic, the probiotic, the immune support matrix, and begin providing you the relief you not only need, but the relief that you also deserve. Relief you'll soon realize you never want to live without again, because you'll finally achieve the whole body health you experienced from days past.